Malaysia's education has once again caught the headline after the PISA score of 2022 was announced, and we have performed below average once again. This time is so bad that when we compare with our regional peers, we are one of the lousy performing ones, even behind Vietnam. Now, obviously, the excuse that was given was because of pandemic, there was lockdown, schools has to stop, therefore our, performance was bad. But other countries also went through the same thing, right? In fact, Vietnam's score only dropped by 4% plus, but Malaysia's score actually dropped by more than 6%. And right now, our PISA score standard is actually below that of 2012. Okay, some of it is about there. But it is bad. It is so bad that even our Prime Minister actually came out and spoke about it and said that there should not be any excuses anymore. Malaysia education system needs to pick up. Our students need to be better in STEM subjects and English. As a parent, I totally agree because I would want the best education for my children. And what's more important is they are the ones who's gonna support the economy in Malaysia. They are gonna be the workforce. They are gonna be the productive workers, and if they have bad education, what's the future for Malaysia? In fact, there are studies that actually shown the education of citizens will affect the GDP of a nation. And so, if our education is going down the drain, it is a very high chance that Malaysia economy could also go down the drain in the future. So, to understand what's wrong with Malaysia's education system and why every time we are scoring so badly in this PISA score, I've decided to find out what this whole PISA thing is all about. PISA, the Program of International Student Assessment, is actually a worldwide assessment conducted by OECD on countries that are members and non-members. Basically, the whole idea is to assess the education system of a country by measuring 15-year-old students' scholastic ability. Means whether they are educated or not on the subject of science, maths, and reading. And to explain how Malaysia has been performing in this, let me first start by the good news. In 2012, we definitely did not perform very well, but by 2018, Malaysian actually started to pick up and improve. However, in the last assessment in 2022, we just dropped. So instead of just standing there and criticizing people and saying that you're so stupid, cannot do it well, I've decided to get my staff in the office to do an actual example of the PISA assessment and see how they actually do. Hello.
Ini adalah mahkamah.
Do you guys always get scam calls like this? Well, since we're on the topic of education, maybe it's time to educate yourself a little bit on scam. Did you know that when you get a scam call, it could mean that your personal information is being leaked online? Apparently, there's this huge market on dark web that is selling leaked security information. This means that criminals could use that information to take out loans or open credit card accounts, then accumulate debt in your name. Imagine, suddenly you owe banks money, not even know how and why. How are you going to pay that back? Not just that, this could also affect your credit score, making it hard for you to get a loan to buy a house or car, or even getting you blacklisted by banks. But don't worry about it. Let me introduce you to Experian. Experian has a subscription package called Jaga My ID that alerts you if your information has been compromised. You'll be able to see your personal information if it has been leaked on the dark web or not. But that's not all. It also sends you a credit report 4 times a year, so you will be informed if there are any unknown loans taken under your name. And guess what? If you sign up now, you will stand a chance to win a 5-day trip to Korea. That's right, a free trip to Korea to see your oppa. If you have one lah. Or if you're not interested in Korea, you also can stand a chance to win an Apple Watch. So you better hurry up because you only have until 8th of February for this opportunity to win all of this. Click the link below to check out Experian to protect your identity today. Now back to our video.
So we're gonna go around the office and get some of our colleagues to do the PISA test. There are a total of 6 levels in this test. Level 1 being the easiest and level 6 being the hardest. We're gonna go around the office and get our colleagues to test on their reading. Level 5. Let's see how they're gonna fare out. Hey, wait guys, if you guys want to take the same test, pause the screen and take the test right here. We just want to test you on something. Have you heard of the PISA test? Basically, it's a program for international student assessment. You just have to just read through this thing. And then the last question, right? There'll be a question for you lah, and you have to answer the question.
Is it C?
The answer is... Indeed, it is C. Wow, not bad.
I tembak only. Huh? What do you mean? I graduated with a writing degree. I think right.
That means your answer is...
C.
Good job, good job. Yeah, the answer is C.
This question asks whether participants had experienced
Experience particular feelings for a long period of time the previous day: enjoyment, happiness, stress, worry, anger, sadness. According to researchers, such answers are free from the revised memories or subject.
A? Obviously, yeah.
A, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry to let you know, sir, but the answer is C. So your answer is?
D.
The answer is C.
So as you can see, the PISA assessment is not that easy. In fact, according to the in-depth PISA assessment report, only 1% of Malaysian students can actually complete the assessment for level 5 and level 6 for mathematics subject, comparing against the OECD average of 9%. Well, our education minister did came out and speak about this and say that it is mainly due to the COVID time where schools were shut down and we have that issue with connectivity, so students can't learn, they do not have connection, they do not have tablet, blah 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 blah. Well, we all know that. And those explanations are all valid. And at the end of the day, she actually inherited this whole legacy of Ministry of Education. It is not under her watch that all this happened, so let's not blame her for it. In fact, the root cause of all this, in my opinion, begins from early education. In fact, there was a separate study that was conducted that shows that Malaysian students aged below 10 years old, 4 out of 10, cannot read or write or interpret a sentence. Imagine, if you can't even understand a sentence, how can you actually solve any problem or learn? If you look at it, that is exactly what the PISA score is trying to test for. Your ability to interpret and understand a situation and a problem through language and solving it. If you can't even read and interpret a sentence, it is going to be very hard for us to continue learning. Because when you graduate and there's no more teachers, you have to keep improving. The only way is to understand things and move on and learn yourself, right? So the issue of not being able to read or write or interpret a sentence is a huge problem. And that should be something to be tackled in early education itself. I can't emphasize how important this is because as a parent myself, I'm truly concerned. So, is Malaysian education really that bad? To understand this, I decided to go back in the past and ask my family members, my mom, my uncles and aunties, and ask them what they think about Malaysian education in the past. And this is what they told me. Back then, their teachers were fantastic. They were really dedicated people and they were very knowledgeable. And when we look back in the past, during those days, many of our teachers were actually trained overseas in London, in UK, right? And they came back. But the problem today is the quality of teachers are not that great. In fact, there was a report that was shown that 93% of applicants into the teaching institute and 70% of those who are recruited as teachers are underqualified. They do not even meet the minimum standard of requirement. And that explains why is it so bad. We need to start by improving the quality of our teachers itself. Obviously, I'm not saying that we need to let go of the teachers or whatnot. I'm saying maybe we should start investing more in developing the teachers' capacity. We should train up the teachers, upskill them. We should have a more formal program and go heavy on such investment. I recall many times back in school, there were teachers who were not interested in teaching at all. There were teachers who actually do not even know what they are teaching about. Their quality was so bad. We even came across news reports that tells about teachers who do not come to school for 1 year and students actually whistleblow it, right? And what happened to those teachers? They just merely get transferred. That's all. I think our government, the Ministry of Education, should take the recruitment of teachers more seriously. Getting great teachers on board, people who are really, really passionate about it, people who are qualified, attract them with higher salary, and implement a system and structure of reward so that they will perform well in school. And if they don't, let it be merit-based, right? Force them to upskill or change them to other jobs that are non-teaching related. At least teacher will be incentivized to work hard and educate the next generation. Now, it's not to say that our country did not try to improve our education system. We did. In fact, Tun Mahathir, before he resigned as a Prime Minister, he implemented STEM subjects to be taught in English, and that was a good move. However, the implementation was so bad. After he implemented it, the gap of results between urban students and rural students was so wide. Students either perform very well or either they perform so badly because the system was not ready. What happened is that when they implemented STEM subjects to be taught in English, the teachers are barely ready to teach in English. Some of these teachers barely even speak English, and the comprehension of English at the early education itself was already not strong. How are they gonna be able to learn STEM subject in English? Therefore, it's not a surprise when students did not perform well after STEM was taught in English. My opinion, the idea is great, but the way that was implemented was bad. After a few years, they reverted back and teach it in Bahasa, and then later go into dual language program, which once again is a huge problem, because until today, when I talk to some of the students who just graduated, they told me that some teachers are still teaching in Bahasa despite the fact that it's supposed to be taught in English. Because at the end of the day, the root cause is still the same. The teachers need to improve, need to be upskilled, they need to be ready to be taught. If they are not ready, to be honest, it is better off to teach that in Bahasa or whatever language. Because if we were to keep arguing about whether to teach it in English or Bahasa or whatnot, it's gonna stay stagnant. What's more important is the student's ability to comprehend and understand concepts and improve and solve problems. It doesn't matter at the end of the day whether is it gonna be in English or Bahasa or Mandarin or whatever language. More importantly is their ability to interpret and understand and solve problems, to think in a higher order. So maybe we should just stop fighting about language and focus on the real issue of education and improve Malaysia's education system. By the way, if you guys want me to do an in-depth dive into the PISA assessment of 2022, where they compare Malaysia education system with all the other countries, there's so much of information there and so many things that you can uncover. If you like that, please write PISA in the comment. As a parent, I truly think that this is extremely important because I want the best for my children, and I want my children to be able to contribute to this nation's productivity, to this nation's growth. So for those of you who are watching this, if you're a parent, you probably feel the same as me. You're probably thinking to yourself whether to send your children to international school or send them to a national school, and what's this whole dual language program all about? The truth is, we just want the better things for our children. I think it's the same regardless of whether you are Chinese, Malay, Indian, or any race or anyone in the world. That's how a parent will think. Before I end this video, I just want to bring out a quote that was said by our education minister on BFM radio of how she believed that education should be a tool that brings about national unity for Malaysians. And I truly believe that. I think we should stop arguing about language and focusing on what is truly important and the root cause of all these issues so that Malaysia can unite and improve as a country. Tell me what you guys think in the comment below.